Alright, in this lecture, we're going to go ahead and do a character design, and we're going to create this character out of super simple geometric shapes, just like we did in our last video lecture. And then we're going to take those shapes and turn them into organic shapes, and then add detail on top of that. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start off by making a square for my character's head, like so, and then I want to make a rectangle for his body, or her body. I'm not sure whether it's going to be a he or a she yet. And then I want to create the legs for my character, so I want to first off create one character or rectangle like so, and then I'll make a triangle coming off like so for the calf, and then I'll do the other leg, so I'll do one rectangle like so, and then another triangle like so, and then I'm going to add in some sort of a feet, so maybe some sort of a small rectangle. And next, I'm going to go ahead and add in the arm. So my arm is going to be like this, and then a triangle. And then we'll have another one on this side, and it's going to be lugging along a sword. So I'm going to have a rectangle for the handle right there, and then I'll have one big rectangle that will be the sword blade. But for now, I'm just going to leave it as one big rectangle. So there are our basic shapes. I'm going to bring my square head down just a little bit to about there. And this is why we do it in blue, is so that it's a lot lighter so we can make changes later. Next, let's go ahead and add in some more detail. So I'm going to add in the neck. Then let's go ahead and smooth the shape out of the torso so it's not just a square block. We'll add in some more detail onto the hands. And then we want to add in more detail on the character's face. So I'm going to start off by adding some ears, and then I'll add an ear over here. And then I want to round off the top of the head a bit, just like so. And I'm going to keep the bottom part very square. Then let's go ahead and fatten this rectangle up a little bit more so it looks more like a leg. And then I can bring her legs more up into her body shape. Then let's go ahead and shape this sword blade out. So it's going to come down like this. The ground will be about there. So I'm going to slice it off right there. And then I'll add another slice right there. So now we're getting more of a sword shape. Then I'm going to put a line right down the middle. So that's one plane, and then that's the other plane. And then we can add in the guard on the sword. Great. Next, let's go ahead and add in a little bit more detail onto the face. So I'm going to add an eye right there and one right there, just very simple shapes. And then I'm going to add in some hair. So I'm going to add in some bangs first. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in some pigtails. So that will be one bunch of hair going into one ponytail or pigtail. And pigtails are basically just going to be circles or ovals. And then off of those, you're going to add a little bit of a curl coming off of it, or a curve. Just like so. Great. Now let's go ahead and grab our dark pencil and add in some more detail and solidify these lines. So first off, I'm going to go ahead and ground off my character by adding a shadow underneath her. So I might add in a little bit more. And then I want to start with her face. So I want to create this shape right there, and I'm going to round off that jaw just a little bit since she's a girl. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in some eyelashes onto her eyes. And then we can go ahead and add in her bottom eyelashes, just like so. And now I want to add in her eyes. So I'm going to add in one right there, and then I'm going to add in another one right there. And then I can go ahead and fill those in, and leaving a small little spot for a reflection. And then I'm going to go ahead and do her nose. So it's just going to be a small little circle oval, like so. And then her mouth is just going to be a small little line. Now let's go ahead and move on to the eyebrows. And then we can go ahead and do her hair. So it's just going to be a simple half circle, and we'll add some lines in there to show each individual hair. So there are her bangs. And now let's go ahead and add in these pigtails. So the first one's going to go right here, and then we can go ahead and add in that ear. And again, I'm not trying to make a perfect character right now. I'm just trying to demonstrate to you guys how shapes are used to create characters. I'll go ahead and add a circle right there. Add in those hairlines. And even these hairlines are cross-contouring lines. And then I'll add a little bit of a blush on her cheeks. Maybe a little bit across her nose too. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in her neck. And then I'll go ahead and add in her body. And I'm trying to think of what type of costume I want her to be wearing. I think she's going to be wearing a big sweatshirt. So I'm going to go ahead and add that in. So there's her neckline. And then there's the bottom of her sweatshirt. There's the band on her sweatshirt. And then it's going to come up into her sleeves, which are going to be really big and puffy, like so. I'll add another one right there. And then there'll be a band on the arms or the wrists. Then we'll have her hands that are holding the sword. Then let's go ahead and draw in the sword guard. So I'll add that in right there. And then we have the shape of our blade. So we'll go ahead and draw that in. And whoops, I got that off just a little bit, so I need to fix that. And then I'm going to go ahead and darken in this bottom area since it's probably in shadow. And then let's go ahead and add in her pants. So I'll go ahead and darken those lines. Very simple, straight lines. And then I'm going to add in a little bit more of a calf in there by popping out that back a little bit more. And then her feet are going to be really simple. I'm not going to get into too much detail with her shoes. They're just going to be very small. So you'll also notice that there's a lot of different line quality in here, especially on the eyes and her eyebrows. They have different thicknesses. And different parts of her hair can have different line quality also. We can also go ahead and trace out the entire outside shape of her, which would be her contouring lines, which goes all the way around her form. This will make her stand out a lot more. And you'll see this a lot in cartoons where they'll outline the entire outside of a character. Especially on the sword, we want it to stand out a lot. And then we can even add in some values in there, which you'll learn about here in the next few lectures. But for now, let's just go ahead and fill those in. So we have a couple of different values in our drawing. Then I might add some cross-contouring lines right there. And you'll notice that my cross-contouring lines on my sleeve and the form of my torso are going in different directions because they're creating that form of her body and arm. Then lastly, I'm going to go ahead and darken in her feet to a nice black. All right, cool. So now we have a really awesome character design. And as you can see, these are just broken down into very simple shapes. And then we built it up from there. So every time you're trying to create a character design, just go with your ideas. And once you have an idea in mind, just try drawing it with these simple shapes before you do anything else. This is going to make your character designs look way, way better. That brings us to the end of this lecture. I really hope you learned something from this, and I really look forward to seeing you in the next lecture where we're going to learn about form.